All right, this is going to be exercise 11-22, special order and opportunity costs. So we're in the decision making chapter now. And we have somebody that's has received an offer to bid on a special order. And they currently are manufacturing at 50% of capacity, and that is 40,000 units that they are currently making. The order would be for 20,000 more units, so they would still be operating under capacity at 75%. And the first question asks, why does the unit cost decline from $11 to $10 when production level rises from 40,000 to 60,000 units? And the reason for that is because there are fixed costs in the factory that are spread out over more units now. And those fixed costs do not rise, assuming that we're within the relevant range. And so those costs do not rise. And so by being spread out over more units, the overall cost goes down. And it says, what would be the impact on short-term operating income if the order was accepted at the price recommended by the sales manager? Now, the price recommended by the sales manager is to be $9 per unit. So we're going to take the marginal costs in this. So we take 20,000 units times $9 per unit, and that's going to be 180,000 in revenue, right? And then we look at the marginal increase in direct materials. At 40,000, it's $80,000, and at 60,000, it's $120,000. So basically, $2 per unit, and so that would be $40,000, the difference between 120 and 80. And so that's the direct material cost. Then we have the direct labor cost, and that goes from 120 to 180, so that's a difference of $60,000. And finally, the factory overhead goes from 240 to 300, or also $60,000 increase. So if we look at that, our total increase in costs, call that manufacturing overhead, total increase in cost is $160,000. So we end up being $20,000 better off by bidding at $9 a unit. Okay, list some other factors that Grant, part 3 says, list some other factors that Grant should consider in deciding how much to bid on this special order. Well, the things that generally go into something like this is how will it affect your other sales? That's the biggest thing that could possibly happen. You could also have capacity issues. You can also, one of the things that you have to think about is if this lower price gets out to your regular customers, how are your regular customers going to take being selling to what may be a competitor of theirs for a lower price than what they're having to pay? So these are all things that have to be taken into consideration when you do that. And then part 4, what would the total opportunity cost be if by accepting the special order, the company lost sales of 5,000 units to its regular customers? Assume the preceding facts plus a normal selling price of $20 a unit. So if we were to do that, we would lose in revenue 5,000 units times $20 a unit, or $100,000. We would gain in revenue $180,000. So our net revenue effects would be $80,000 plus. Now that's the revenue side of things. Now remember, we calculated this out that the direct materials are going to be $2 a unit, and so instead of an additional 40,000, it would only be an additional 30,000. And then it's $3 a unit for the direct labor and the factory overhead. So $3 a unit would be 45,000 for each of those. So that would be 80,000 plus in revenue, 120,000 in additional expenses, and so we would end up 40,000 worse off in this case if we were to if we looked like we were going to lose 5,000 units of sales. And that may be because we're selling to one of the competitors of our regular customers, and so they don't order as many as they normally would. So anyway, that is exercise 11-22.